Yeah, I was at T-Boone Pickens Stadium Saturday night for Bedlam, section 312, row 22, seat 1. Surrounded by a lot of orange, and boy were they loud. Louder than any college football environment that I've ever been in. And I've been to quite a few OU games in Norman, and it's never gotten as loud as what it was at T-Boone Pickens Stadium Stillwater. Those fans are definite participants when it comes to their Cowboys. And before I go any further, a big congratulations to Oklahoma State. First outright conference title in 63 years. I give credit where credit's due, and they simply whooped the dog out of Oklahoma on Saturday night. So props to Mike Gundy and to that team. And personally, I hope they get a shot at the national championship. We'll find out later on Sunday what the BCS has to say about that. But I think they're worthy of a shot after not only beating Oklahoma, but just beating them to a pulp. I mean, 44-10, it might as well have been 77-0. 44-10, let's face it, that final score made the game seem closer than it was, and it wasn't. Not one good thing came from this game from Oklahoma getting outplayed, getting out-executed, getting out-coached, getting out everything. You give credit to OSU because that might have been the best game that they played all year long, definitely on the defensive side, as OU offensively was stymied the whole night long. I would love to have seen, and keep in mind, I think even if Oklahoma had played one of their buried games, it still would have been tough to win the way OSU was playing. I would love to have seen the Sooners begin the game, though, by running the ball. OSU is one of the worst teams in the country when it comes to defending the run, and OU knew that. But the first five plays, the Sooners passed, and the first couple of possessions, the first possession, I think they had 5 plays and punt. The next one was a 3 and out. One of the 4 keys I highlighted to this game was OU get off to a good start, because you had to be able to negate that crowd advantage, which I witnessed firsthand. It was definitely loud. I still have a headache from all that noise last night, being surrounded by orange and black. And they, like I said, they definitely are participants. That crowd is in Stillwater. The Sooners had to get off to a good start. They did last year against the Cowboys, and they used every point to their advantage. At one point last year, leading by 11 in the first half. In this one, just the opposite. An F for Oklahoma in this department as far as getting off to a good start. Down 10-0 early. And keep in mind, even though Brandon Wheaton played a good game for OSU, this wasn't one of his best games. There were times when he had receivers and he was off his mark. So I wouldn't say that this was a Heisman Trophy-like performance for Wheaton, but it didn't matter. He didn't have to play like a Heisman candidate for OSU to dominate. They didn't have to throw it deep. We rarely saw them throw it deep. They had high percentage intermediate passes because they had receivers open. Blackman along the sideline, or they'd have Josh Cooper open on those short plays. OSU is very, very talented, and OU had to be able to get to the quarterback. We mentioned that as the biggest key to this game. Talk about getting pressure on Brandon Wheaton. Another F, an F- for the Sooners, because Wheaton had way too much time to throw. I remember there was a 3rd and long situation where OSU had the ball deep in their own territory. OU's only rushing 3 guys, thinking they got 8 players defending the pass. We got it. No, OSU still got a first down off of it. You got to take chances. You got to take risks. Otherwise, you're going to be on your heels all night long. The Sooners didn't take enough risk, and they couldn't get pressure from the outside. A big, big reason why OU had trouble on the defensive side. They couldn't get to Wheaton. And then when the passing game's going, of course, the running game for the Cowboys, they had monster truck-sized holes, took advantage of it with Smith and with Randall in the backfield, and OU had a hard time stopping the OSU running attack. Talking about turnovers as well, that's one of the 4 keys I highlighted on the weekly matchup show. A turnover battle, another F for the Sooners. 5 turnovers on the night. Landry had a couple of interceptions, including one that may not have been completely his fault, the interception in the end zone. Part of that I blame on Landry for not throwing it on the money, but still at the same time, Jazz Reynolds could have made a much better effort at the ball, and he got out-muscled in the end zone. This was when OU was down early and had an opportunity to try to tie the game up, and they couldn't do it. And another thing about this game, too, the 4th key to this game, Landry, make good decisions. Another F. I'm going Fs across the board for the Sooners. Landry, you got to hold on to the ball. The weather was not that bad. It wasn't as bad as what the meteorologists were saying it was going to be. It was a little cold, it was a little windy, but it wasn't gale force winds like against Iowa State. and there was no precipitation either. There was no reason why Landry should be fumbling the ball. Decision making, how about the decision to hold on to the ball, Landry? It's that simple. Hold on to it, because one of his fumbles led to an instant Cowboy touchdown, and the other one set up a 1-yard run for a touchdown. The turnovers were huge, and Landry Jones, at times too, was overthrowing his receivers as well. Some of the passes that weren't caught, I do blame on the receivers. DeJuan Miller, who I thought was horrible, dropping passes all night long. The receivers didn't help, but at the same time, Landry had open receivers that he was overshooting as well. And in the first half, Landry had time to throw. In the first half, the offensive line, I thought, did a good job. Second half, of course, when it looked like OU quit, Landry had a much more difficult time. But the Sooners didn't get off to that good start. Did bad in the turnover department. Landry didn't make good decisions either. Couldn't get to Brandon Weeden. That spells a bedlam blowout. So for Oklahoma State, we'll see what happens after the BCS selection show. They're definitely assured of a BCS bowl, either the Fiesta or the National Championship. And again, I hope they get a shot at facing LSU. I think they're worthy of one. For Oklahoma, it's either going to be the Cotton Bowl, the Alamo Bowl, the Insight Bowl, or the Toilet Bowl. I think the latter might be appropriate after that ferocious butt whipping they took on Saturday night in Stillwater. Cotton Bowl, I don't know how good the odds they're going to have. If they get a Cotton Bowl bid, it's only because of proximity and because you can sell a lot of tickets. And hopefully the Sooners can regroup and put a much better effort in the upcoming bowl game than that piece of garbage exhibition that they displayed against an OSU team that was better in every phase of the game. Before I leave, big props to my cousin Linda, again, for providing me with the opportunity to go to Bedlam. Enjoyed the tailgating before the game. The OSU fans were very classy, very courteous to me. They were classy to me by and large throughout the game and after the game. You still had a few of those OSU fans that used the FU, which you're going to expect. But for the most part, they were just happy for their team that what happened last night occurred. And for the most part, didn't have too much difficulty. And again, to my cousin Linda and to her friend Scott, thank you very much. It was a lot of fun. By the way, Linda and I made a bet before the game that the losing team had to sing the other team's school song and wear their colors. Yes, I owned up to my bet. It's on Facebook for my Facebook subscribers. I'll try to get that uploaded on YouTube sometime. I have to figure out the trick to doing that. So, but again, it's on Facebook if you like a little humor for your day. Final score again, OSU beats OU 44-10. Cowboys won the Big 12, and for OU, we're going to find out if they give a flip at all about ending their season on a high note. Bowl game coming up. We'll have a bowl matchup show later in December. Of course, for the third straight year, I'll have my third annual Big 12 bowl preview show. So we only have 3 shows to go for the year, and then that'll be it. Boomer Sooner.